Yeah, yesterday. No, the day before yesterday. Today's Thursday. On Tuesday, I got a email that there was no more overtime, and I didn't even understand it at first. So because of that, I've had more time, and I've been spending more time with my Android box, which I guess in the old days I would have did a review, but I'm not going to do that. That's not why I'm talking about this. This is the Criterion Collection. Let me go back to that. There's the Criterion channel. I pay $10 a month for this, or $11 a month. And they have movies. And this guy, I didn't know. I knew his movies. I knew this one, The Thin Blue Line. I knew that one. Let me read this to you. The Thin Blue Line, directed by Errol Morris, 1988, United States. Among the most important documentaries ever made, The Thin Blue Line by Errol Morris erases the border between art and activism, a work of meticulous journalism and gripping drama. It recounts the disturbing tale of Randall Dale Adams, a drifter who was charged with the murder of a Dallas police officer and sent to death row despite evidence that he did not commit the crime, incorporating stylish reenactments, penetrating interviews, and haunting original music by Philip Glass. Morris uses cinema to build a case forensically while effortlessly entertaining his viewers. The Thin Blue Line affected a world-class change, proving film's power beyond the shadow of a doubt. So, sorry, I didn't read that perfect, but you got it. So yeah, this guy, I don't know how many movies he made, but these are the ones that I've seen. I like him very much. He does a great job. And on here, he does talk about his experiences, how he became a filmmaker. He was actually a private detective, or he still is, in my understanding. And that's how he does his movies, according to my understanding of the interview. He just goes out and he has his subject, and then he ends up with what he was. So he talked about the Vernon, Florida. Turns out that in this Florida town, they have a lot of these people, I guess they call them nubs, that cut their hands off or something for insurance investigations so they can make money. So he went down there to investigate that, and then, as he says, he got beat up, and he just decided to make a different movie. And then by the end of the movie, he said, man, this is pretty cool. And it is. I would say out of all those movies, that's my favorite. The Gates of Heaven is about funeral directors and what happens, not funeral directors, excuse me, animal funeral directors. And they started with a rendering plant and the animal director, and then they went to another animal cemetery, and it was very successful, and they went through the whole family and talked to everybody, and that's how it ended up. So his films, they're very interesting. I like this one. This one is about animal trainers and animal studies, and in that movie there was one where they had robots in it. This one is about Robert McNamara, who got us into the war, who was involved in World War II, worked with a big general, I forgot the name that he worked with. He worked with one of the generals during the war. Oh, Curtis LeMay. He worked with Curtis LeMay, who was probably the greatest mass murderer of all time, bombed cities into submission, just killed all kinds of people, slaughtered them to win the war. And he said that had influenced him. I'm not making a judgment about Mr. LeMay. I didn't even know his name until I worked with a guy, until I lived with a guy out in San Diego that was and he told me that. But anyway, he talks about that, and but in those films, and what he does here, he would jump in and say, well, what about this, Mr. McNamara? He was providing some kind of resistance on that one as far as what was going on, but he pretty much gave Mr. McNamara plenty of opportunity to make his case for why he was doing what he did, and why he killed 58,000 Americans, and millions of Vietnamese and Cambodians. Of course, he didn't do it because he left in 68. So you really can't say it's his fault. But yeah, he definitely played a part. And the guy is obviously brilliant. But anyway, this guy makes movies like that. They're very interesting. I don't know where you get access to. I'd heard of this one, The Thin Blue Line. That one's about the murder. I read you that one. I'd heard of that one. That's how I knew the guy. And this Gates of Heaven, it was very good. All of them are good. This one here, A Brief History of Time, about Stephen Hawking, it's a little dry and hard to watch because it was very intellectual. And Mr. Moore said that he was trained in that, as far as in the physics and so forth, that he knew about it. And he said it made it difficult to make that into a movie, and he didn't want to do it that way. But anyway, for $11 a month, and you get a free month when I signed up, I like this very much. I like these type of movies. I don't like what they're doing now. As far as their movies, I don't watch them. I am not participating as much in the culture as a lot of people would like me to. I don't know about it because I'm just tired of a lot of things. Maybe I'm becoming an old man, which is okay. I'm an old man that makes a video every now and then. Check this guy out. Check out Criterion Collection. It's cool. Out.